Hey, what's up, y'all? How's everyone doing? We are here with the Undisputed Podcast with my co-host Zach Cooper, who's going to be breaking down the same match as I am. So you get two different perspectives and two different grading scales, pretty much. You get out of 10 for Zach, and you get an out of 5 stars for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today's match is a Summerslam match from 1997 between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. There was a little hype package, I guess, before the match started, and it was talking about how Owen Hart was bragging about beating Stone Cold Steve Austin at WWF In Your House Canadian Stampede, which is the last show that we reviewed. He ended up rolling up Owen Hart for the win. Stone Cold then says on Monday Night Raw one night that if he can't kick Owen's ass, he's going to have to kiss it. Because I guess that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so, I guess. I don't know. But basically, Owen says that he better pucker up then, because he's not beating, Stone Cold ain't beating me. Owen Hart makes his way to the ring first as the champion. Michael Cole is trying to chase down Stone Cold Steve Austin for answers. Austin kind of gives him shit, bullies him, and talks about his tie and stuff, and just tells him to get out of here. Before the bell rings, Austin comes into the ring, kind of stares down Owen Hart, flips him off, and then he goes to the other turnbuckle to kind of do his signature pose. When he gets down, Owen Hart chop blocks the bad knee, the one that's heavily braced, which I think is his left knee, and he just starts to go to work on that right away. Austin then dishes out some punches a little bit later on in the match, or not a little later on, but like a minute later, he dishes out some punches and then hits the Luthez press. He whips him into the corner and does multiple, neck slams, just kind of grabbing him by the head and slamming him down. Let's see here. Where's my notes? Austin hits a clothesline, gets a 2 count. Then he gains wrist control and on Owen and attacks the shoulder. Owen tries to counter out. Austin ends up poking the eye. Refs in 1997 just don't care, so it's not a disqualification. Owen whips Austin and hits a back elbow. Austin then rolls out, and Owen kind of goes over there near the turnbuckle that Austin's standing outside of, and Austin tries to grab the legs. Owen counters by kind of, bringing his legs into his body, kind of like how you work out on a leg machine. So he kind of brings his legs back in, causing Austin to hit the ring post. So he couldn't, attack the leg there. Owen then starts to work on Austin's hand on the outside of the ring. He comes back into the ring, attacks it some more, and is even trying to bite it. He's trying to break Austin's middle finger so he can't flip him off. And he even, kind of ties his arms and stuff to the ropes and starts biting his fingers and stuff and trying to break the fingers. So you got some Pete Dunne-esque stuff going on. Obviously, Owen Hart way before Pete Dunne. Let's see here. Austin, ends up trying to counter, hits a power bomb and a clothesline. Owen is trying to, leave, because when he gets clotheslined outside of the ring. And Owen's like, yeah, I can still retain my title via count out, so you'll still have to kiss my ass type of thing. So he ends up trying to walk out, and Austin ends up chasing him, realizing the situation, hits a clothesline to the back of the head, tries to bring him back to ringside, puts him back in the ring. Owen then counters Austin, when he tries to Irish whip him, and hits a belly-to-belly suplex while he's running off the top, or not off the top, but running off the ropes in the Irish whip formation or whatever. Owen then hits a power slam and an elbow drop, ends up getting a 2 count. Owen then whips Austin into the corner. He then bounces off and hits another clothesline. Austin tries to go for the sharpshooter, which it seems like in his feuds with the Hart family, he was always trying to go for the sharpshooter to get one over on him. Owen counters. Owen gets whipped into the corner, but counters with a mid-rope cross body. Austin gets hit with that cross body, but uses the momentum against Owen Hart to kind of try to pin him. Owen ends up kicking out. And then Owen, a little bit later on, hits a clean-looking German suplex, and we thought it was damn near a 3 count. Ends up being 2.8, 2.9, but that hand did slap for the 3 count, but Austin technically kicked out right before. And then he locks in the camel clutch. Austin then counters with some strikes, goes to Irish whip Owen Hart. He then counters with a, DDT, gets a 2 count, and then he just goes for a chin lock. And he's like switching the positions and trying to like rework the leverage of the hold and try to put his foot on the rope and stuff. Both guys, try to go for sleeper hold attempts. Austin counters and goes for an axe handle, a diving axe handle off the top. Owen ends up countering with a gut punch. And I kind of jumped the gun. After that is when Owen puts that tight, like, chin locker hold on him. And he's kind of using the ropes for leverage. And then the ref sees it, kicks his feet off the rope. Owen then argues with the ref. And Austin tries to counter. And then we see the infamous botched pile driver. So that pile driver, when Stone Cold Steve Austin talks about the neck injury, it's from this match in 1997. Stone Cold versus Owen Hart. For some reason, I kept thinking it was against Bret Hart, but it was against Owen Hart in 1997. And, Austin tried the counter, and then we see that power bomb as my computer goes out again. It does that every time. But basically, Austin's head was like, you could see his head poking out in the pile driver position, and he just slammed hard on there. And he was he was loopy, man. He was loopy, and Owen knew that and was saying like, he's done, trying to tell the ref like, hey, we need to stop this match or something. But I don't think they could stop the match, so they had to come up with like some sort of alternative finish. And we kind of see a bad-looking roll-up attempt from Austin, but granted, the dude's neck is in pain. And like, he's just trying to finish the match, and Owen, sells it like he can't kick out or whatever. But before that, Owen's like still trying to get his heel heat by telling the crowd, Canada, Canada. And then he's like, Austin better get ready to pucker up, and screaming on commentary. So Owen does a good job of like being real in the moment, checking on Stone Cold Steve Austin, but also getting his heel heat. Shout out to Owen Hart right there. Multiple refs after Stone Cold wins the title or whatever have to like help him up and help him, get out of the ring and assist him. Austin holds up the title, so at least you can get that imagery or whatever. But yeah, so there's that. And I would say in terms of a rating for this match, this was the hardest match to rate because of the fact that I knew this, once Zach told me where the botched pile driver comes from and what event it happens at, it's just like, man, I kind of have to ding it a little bit, but it is an iconic moment. And I thought this was a good match. So I'm going to give it, 3.75 out of 5. Like, it's not quite as good as the Canadian Stampede match. Granted, you had 8 other people. It was crazy. There was a lot of stuff that happened after the match as well, and before the match with all the theatrics and stuff. But this was a pretty damn good match, and it was on its way to being a true classic. But unfortunately, the botched pile driver, like, that kind of stings it for me, man. Like, this could have been a 4-star match. It could have been 4.5, maybe 5, but nah, man, I have to ding it a little bit, man, because of that pile driver spot. Just for a second sucked all the energy out of the crowd. But Austin gets the roll-up victory, kind of, basically. But let me know what you guys think, and let's hear what Zach has to say.